What's up, guys? Welcome to this segment. We're gonna go and do a bunch of stuff about rucking. I know you guys have been asking for a long time to see me get out and do some rucking, why we sell the foot care kit, all the things to help you guys ruck better. Today, we're gonna break some of that stuff down. What boots I wear, what socks I wear, and how I set up to get ready to go out and ruck. A lot of the things that you're gonna do, the decisions that you make before you step off are gonna determine how that ruck goes for you. So the first thing we're gonna do is we gotta prep our feet. So I'm gonna show you the foot care kit, go through it and how to prep my feet and how I get ready to go for a ruck. With the foot care kit, we sell everything that you need, and this isn't a commercial. It's not intended to be. I'm just showing you what I would do to get ready for a ruck, and that's how we built the foot care kit, is just putting in things that we use all the time. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is clip your toenails. And that seems like an obvious thing, or maybe not so obvious thing, but the problem is some guys will get, their toenails will be too long and their toes will start rubbing into each other, and that toenail will dig a hole into the toe next to it, and you're gonna have a ton of pain unnecessarily. So you're gonna see my disgusting feet, but let's get this prepped and get rolling. All right, so those are pretty good. Again, you just wanna make sure that your toenails are nice and short so that they're not rubbing into each other and rubbing holes into your other foot. And then from there, because I've rucked enough getting ready for special operations, I know where my hot spots are. So I know that for me, my blisters form on the back of my heel and they form on the ball of my foot. So on the ball of my foot here and on the back of my heel, that's where I get blisters. So why wait? Don't wait for your blisters to form. Once you've rucked enough to know where those are gonna pop up at, just go ahead and cut your moleskin and then get those spots covered up before you step off. So you take your little scissors, cut out a circle. When I was in selection, I took a bag of these circles already pre-cut because I was worried about how much time I would have. So I had like 50 of these circles cut and shoved into a sandwich bag. I recommend you guys do the same thing. So that way I wasn't like feeling like rushed on time in the morning to have to cut these. So anything you could prep and already have done, the better. And yes, you could bring this stuff with you. So you could bring the foot care with you kit to selection, and you could have your moleskin already pre-cut. So I recommend that you do that. I would do bigger pieces, I'm running out, but do big pieces. And you wanna cut them in circles, because if you leave sharp points on your moleskin, that point's just gonna peel off, and then before you know it, you'll have a clump in your sock, and you don't want that. So, and then I'll put it right there. So that way the friction rubs on the moleskin and not on my skin, and I don't get those fat blisters. So that's how you prep your feet. So I'll do that to both of my feet, and then we'll move on to socks and the boots. Okay, so the next important thing that you're gonna wanna pick is your sock selection. So obviously we recommend the Fox Rivers. We have some of them coming in, but there's an important distinction of which socks that you pick. So these ones are pretty thick. Typically I don't like to have the thicker socks, and I like to, there's a set of Fox Rivers and we'll carry them, but they're almost supposed to be used as under socks. They're super thin. I like that. My feet sweat a lot, and I don't like to have thick socks, because once they start sweating, it can almost get so much sweat to the point your socks get wet, and then it'll create some friction and discomfort, and you don't want that. So, but I do like Fox Rivers. They stay tight onto your foot and they don't rub around. The difference is the way they're built. You see like the different patterns in the sock, that changes how it holds your foot. So if you go get a cheap sock from like Walmart and you just throw that thing on, it's gonna slide all over and create a bunch of friction on your foot because it's moving around. So the more expensive socks are worth the money because of the way they hold onto your foot. So don't go cheap on your socks. I promise you you'll regret it. And then you got some foot powder in here. If you wanna take some foot powder and put it inside your sock, if you plan on sweating, that works. All right, so let's get our socks on. Be careful not to pull your moleskin off once you put your socks on. You just shove it in there, you could peel that moleskin off. It's kind of funny because like there was an old school mindset about rucking and your feet. And the whole thing was you wanted your feet to be as tough as possible. So some guys were legitimately like putting their feet in gasoline. And that was like this old school thing. It's like, you gotta toughen up your feet, put them in gas, make them hard. Not true, don't do that. So you wanna lotion your feet. Take care of your feet like you're showing them off to the world, like baby your feet. Because the more lotion you use on your feet, The healthier your skin is on your feet, the less cracks you'll get and the less injuries. So I'm telling you, a lot of people think you're just gonna go out and ruck and then you'll get better at rucking by putting in the miles. A lot happens before you even step off. So now, boot selection. I got the old Nikes. These are the boots that I prefer when it comes to rucking. The reason I like these a lot, if I'm gonna be on the trail, they're like sneakers. They're soft, I could run in them, they're awesome, and they just don't feel like a boot. They feel like a sneaker that has better ankle support. The issue with these is when you start getting off trail. When you start getting off trail and you're actually stepping on branches and twigs and sharp objects and land nav, you want something a little tougher. But if you're gonna do a guided trail and you want speed to be your best friend, so a 12-mile ruck in SFAS, or you're passing a gates, go with your sneaker ones. But also have like a Garmont, something a little tougher for when you're doing land nav. One thing you'll learn as you start to ruck more is how you tie your laces. It matters a lot. Like if you put a lot of tension on the top of your foot, once you get those miles in, your foot could start swelling and you'll get pain on the top of your feet. So what I usually do is leave it a little looser in my foot box, but then tighten it through my ankle for that support. And then to make sure that your laces don't rub loose from your pants and then you have untied boots, I like to take the top of my sock and just cover my laces with it, and it holds them in place. So this is the kind of stuff, guys, that you'll start to grow like your own preferences as you ruck more. But you look at somebody who's been rucking a lot or have rucked for years, they're very meticulous about how their setup is, and that's because once we step off, we got what we got, and we have to make sure that we made all the right choices. All right, guys, so one more thing before we step off: Squirrel's nut butter. That's the one we carry. You could always use Glide. It's the same stuff, but you're gonna wanna put on some kind of anti-chafing cream. I put it between my legs. Little pro tip, put a little bit in your little butt crack. If you got a little thick booty like your boy over here, your butt cheeks are gonna rub together, and I promise you, once you start chafing, it's gonna feel like you're having needles stabbed into your butt cheeks. It's freaking terrible. So make sure you grab a little bit of the Glide. You're just gonna roll it out like a deodorant stick. Obviously, you could apply it directly to inside of your legs. You probably don't wanna apply it directly to your ass crack, so typically what I'll do is put a little on my hand, swipe it on the old butt cheeks, and then wash my hands so you can keep your stick clean. But I'm gonna go ahead and put that on before we step off, because I really don't wanna deal with any chafing, and I don't think you guys wanna watch me do that. But after I do that, I'm gonna give you another little tip on how to check to make sure your boots are tied right. Once you get your boots in, you're gonna wanna step off. And when you step off to walk around your boots, push on your toes and try to pull your heels up out of your boots. If I could feel my heels lifting out of my boots, that's gonna be a problem, because as I'm rucking, that movement from my heel moving inside of my boot and lifting up is gonna create a lot of friction. So make sure your boots are tied and fit to the point where your heel is not lifting up out of the heel cup in your boot. That's gonna be really important.